WFAA have a newscast at 6, but due to college football, it has been preempted. So for the next few minutes, we hope to keep you up to date on a big story that so many of you are talking about right now. A woman was shot and killed in her home by a Fort Worth police officer around 2 this morning. Now, we know a lot of you have questions, and we'd like to hear those. You can leave them in the comments below, and we'll try to get as many of them answered as we can. This happened on the south side of Fort Worth on East Allen Avenue. That is where WFA's Eric Alvarez is live to talk us through what happened here. Eric, I know a lot of people still gathered at this home behind you.
Yeah, pretty big turnout. A lot of people want to know exactly what happened here early this morning. It happened here at this home on East Allen and Mississippi. Right now you can see friends and loved ones are here at the residence supporting one another, trying to make sense of this terrible tragedy. Now, neighbors say 28-year-old Atatiana Jefferson lived here with her 8-year-old nephew around 2:30 this morning, and neighbors saw the door open and the lights on. He called a non-emergency line asking police to come see if neighbors were okay. We're about to show you what happened next. This is the body cam footage provided by Fort Worth Police in its entirety.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Now, in that video, you never hear the police officer identify himself. He simply goes through a gate into the backyard, then sees a figure in the window, and then in a span of about 3 seconds, you saw it there, he shouts the orders, "Put your hands up, show me your hands, show me your hands," and almost immediately after, that deadly shot rings out. Now, Fort Worth police have not identified that officer, but describe him as a white man who has been with the department since April of last year. Now, remember, this all started with a call from for a welfare check from a neighbor who says police were supposed to come to make sure Jefferson was okay, not to put her in harm's way.
I explained on the call that there wasn't any violence going on, any type of arguments going on. It was simply a concern for my neighbor. I'm still kind of broken and shocked. They tell me I shouldn't feel bad, but I feel bad because had I not called the police department, she would probably still be alive today. So I do feel a little weight on me for any violence going on, any type of arguments going on. It was simply a concern for my neighbor. I'm still kind of broken and shocked. They tell me I shouldn't feel bad, but I feel bad because had I not called the police department, she would probably still be alive today. So I do feel a little weight on me for that, making that call.
Now, the officer has been placed on administrative leave. The department says all of the evidence will be handed over to the district attorney's office to see if any criminal charges will follow. And I can tell you that is what a lot of friends, relatives, and neighbors are calling for here at this moment. They say Jefferson had every right to be inside her home and that she posed absolutely no threat to that officer. Back to you.
Eric, a lot of people who are watching this right now on Facebook are expressing how sad this is. I'm sure you've been hearing that from neighbors. But I also want to get back to the man who called to report this wellness check. Again, a non-emergency number. And he did stress, correct, that he was expecting this just to be a check. Did he also talk about his experience hearing this confrontation happen?
As late as it was, I don't, me and myself personally, I don't understand why he called the police to do a wellness check. Did he see a sign of a struggle or something not going right at his neighbor house for him to call in a wellness check? How it was late. It was late in the afternoon, so late in the night when he did the wellness check.
Did he hear the gunshots? Do we know that? The gunshot, excuse me.
Yes, in fact, Yes, in fact, he did. He was paying very close attention. He wanted, again, to make sure that his neighbors were safe. So he called the police. He said a number of officers arrived, but they did not park in front of the house. He says that then he just kind of was monitoring.
Okay, they parked around a corner, then walked, I guess, a block or half a block to her house. Two of them, and you saw what went down in the video. So more strange details.
Watching, he heard a gunshot, and he didn't know what had happened. And then a few moments later, a lot of other police officers arrived on the scene. He said he did not know who had fired the shot, who had been struck, if that person, had survived. He didn't know for quite some time, and that's, what really seems to have bothered him is he didn't know. And just kind of the emotion in his voice when he was saying that he almost wishes he hadn't made that call. But of course, in that moment, he could not have foreseen what took place here early this morning.
Sure, Eric Alvarez for us live in Fort Worth. Eric, thank you for that update. Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price sent out this statement today. Writing a statement like this is tragic and something that should never be necessary. A young woman has lost her life, leaving her family in unbelievable grief. All of Fort Worth must surround Atatiana Jefferson's family with prayers, love, and support. Chief Kraus and his command staff are acting with immediacy and transparency to conduct a complete and thorough investigation. More details are forthcoming, and the Tarrant County District Attorney Law Enforcement Incident Team Office will ultimately receive this case. Now, we are already starting to see community members react to this shooting, and to say that they are angry would definitely be an understatement.
It's sad enough that our young men are being killed. But when our women are not safe, as men in our community, we are called to stand up and protect the women in our community. Right. And when our women are not safe, then it's going to get to a point that we can no longer be passive. There you go. At some point, we have to fight aggression with aggression.
Turned into a protest with demonstrators marching through the streets. Now, this all started Saturday when officers responded to a man's call, worried there might be something wrong at his neighbor's home. But Atatiana Jefferson was just playing video games with her nephew when an officer fired at her. Now, we have a lot to get to, but let's start with Bradley Black. A protest with demonstrators marching through the streets. Now, this all started Saturday when officers responded to a man's call, worried there might be something wrong at his neighbor's home. But Atatiana Jefferson was just playing video games with her nephew when an officer fired at her. Now, we have a lot to get to, but let's start with Bradley Blackburn right outside the home. You heard from a passionate crowd tonight, but also police spoke for the first time today.
That's right, Chris. This has been emotional and it has been raw. This case is already drawing national attention.
I still want to know what he was worried about. The call and a wellness check to the police so late.
But it happened less than 48 hours ago inside the home behind me, where Atatiana Jefferson was inside when a Fort Worth police officer responded to that call, and she was shot and killed. Today, police told us that her 8-year-old nephew was in the room with her when the gun was fired, and the family returned to this house for the first time just a short time ago. Tonight, there was grief and outrage. Atatiana Jefferson's family coming back to the home where she was shot and killed by a Fort Worth police officer. The family's attorney, Lee Merritt.
Atatiana was the glue that held this family together. She was so in love with...
So he's the same guy from the Joshua Brown Botham Jean case. Because he represented the Botham Jean family. They ended up representing Joshua Brown, and now he's in the spotlight in this case. Less than a few weeks after the Amber Geiger trial, less than a week after Joshua Brown was shot and killed in a drug deal gone wrong. And we'll get into Joshua Brown in a little bit after this segment.
babysitting, caring for her mother, showing up and counseling her sisters. That when they lost her, they lost balance.
The members of the Fort Worth Police Department share your very real and valid concerns.
This afternoon, Fort Worth Police gave their first on-camera statement, confirming their officer never identified himself as police before he pulled the trigger.
As they usually help.
Which is strange for officers not to knock on the door and identify themselves before anything. Just the video itself is strange.
At this time?
They usually home, but they never had both of the front doors open.
Police also released the non-emergency call that brought them to Jefferson's home. The neighbor concerned lights were on, doors open, but making no claim of danger.
I mean, it's just not normal for them to have both the doors open this late that long.
Police say officers parked away from the home, and the body camera footage shows them searching around with flashlights, going in the backyard. Then the moment the officer spots Jefferson's figure in her own window.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Slow it down, you can see her pull up the blinds. The officer pulls the trigger less than 2 seconds after his verbal commands.
The officer did not announce that he would.
Parked away from the home, and the body camera footage shows them searching around with flashlights, going in the backyard. Then the moment the officer spots Jefferson's figure in her own window.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Slow it down, you can see.
Which none of that made any sense. Not on neither part. None of it makes sense. Like, this is why they call it bullshit news. Then you connect the same guy with Joshua Brown that's representing Joshua Brown and his family. You ever heard of Gloria Allred? She represents all those women in the Me Too movement. Like, whenever we see her on the scene, there's some suspect shit. But she represents all the women in the Me Too. A lot of women who say directors did this, actors did this. But you know, Me Too movement. So he's like a black male version of Gloria Allred, an attorney who just shows up like Al Sharpton when the injustices go down. But the injustices in this case just don't make no sense on video. Right.
Her pull up the blinds. The officer pulls the trigger less than 2 seconds after his verbal commands.
The officer did not announce that he was a police officer prior to shooting. What the officer observed and why he did not announce police will be addressed as the investigation continues.
Police would not explain why their officer felt threatened, and they would not answer our question why they shared a picture of a gun found in Jefferson's home.
Fort Worth PD is not competent to investigate themselves criminally.
And why their officer felt threatened, and they would not answer our question why they shared a picture of a gun found in Jefferson's home.
Fort Worth PD is not.
Why they shared a picture of a gun found in Jefferson's Atatiana Jefferson home? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Does it? And this guy here, this little man here, he remind me of R. Kelly's crisis manager, that black dude who do all the speaking for R. Kelly before the white dude come on, his attorney.
Competent to investigate themselves criminally in this case.
And by the time we stopped being angry, there was another body that the police have put in the ground.
It's called for action.
We're working closely on this. It's a tragic situation.
Mayor Betsy Price came to the vigil to listen, but quickly left, surrounded by a frustrated crowd. Emotions high after another life lost. So many mourning and grieving Atatiana Jefferson. She was just 28 years old, a college graduate who was taking care of...
And I want to see more protests, more video of the vigil or protests. I mean, it's 4 minutes left on this, so hopefully we see some protesting.
family members in this house. Now, you heard her attorney say that Fort Worth Police is not qualified to investigate. Well, the city says that it is the department's plan to do their own investigation into this incident. Tomorrow, the officer involved, who has not yet been named, will speak to the Major Case and Internal Affairs Unit. And we are also expecting to hear from Police Chief Ed Kraus, a press conference scheduled tomorrow.
So what is the officer involved going to say? You know, we parked around the corner, walked up to the house. I started snooping around the house. I saw a figure in the window and shot the figure in the window. This is all nonsense story. Joshua Brown, attorney, is on the case. I mean, it's looking more and more like nonsense. Right.
Where they promise to answer more questions. So many in this community want those questions answered, need those questions answered. What started here tonight at...
What questions do they need or want answer that you don't see on the video, or the video given to you that supposed to get a reaction out of you? Yeah. Where's the full video at of her bleeding or anything?
The vigil at times turned into a protest, and my colleague Alex Rozier has more on that part of the story. Yeah, Bradley,
Or the video of them paramedics coming, a video of them going behind the window after shooting and seeing what happened.
Protest just wrapped up within the hour, one that started right here at the intersection of Allen and Mississippi Avenue. They took off down Allen Street, and there were hundreds of marchers, and they headed in the direction of 35W. I want to show you some of that video right now. This is video we just shot within the last couple of hours here in Fort Worth. A group of a crowd that's very passionate. They say that this week they will be keeping the heat on the city of Fort Worth as this investigation is getting underway. They promised me that they'll be at the city council meeting on Tuesday. They've got plans tomorrow night as well that are still being developed. We spoke with a couple of the people involved just a few minutes ago.
It's almost like a sword. You know what I'm saying? Once it starts to heal, then somehow or another you're playing too much and you peel the scab off again. Then once again the bleeding starts. And seems as if, you know what I'm saying?
I just want to look at their red shirts.
Once it starts to heal, then somehow or another you're playing too much and you peel the scab off again. Then once again the bleeding starts. And seems as if we never get a...
This nigga got 2 red earrings, a red chain, a red shirt with a black shirt under it. Looking like twins to the left of him.
Hands. Then
Developed. We spoke with a couple of the people involved just a few minutes ago.
It's almost like a...
crowd that's very passionate. They say that this week they will be keeping the heat on the city of Fort Worth as this investigation is getting underway. They promised me a group of a crowd that's very passionate. They say that this week they will be keeping the heat on the city of Fort Worth.
So, whoever organized all this, all of this, they plan on putting on a whole show with this case for the next week. So for the next week, I guess we have material for YouTube. Bullshit material, because it don't make sense at all. Just like the Joshua Brown, Amber Gaga stuff don't make sense at all. But here go your organized protest. Some footage, a little footage.
As this investigation is getting underway, they promised me that they'll be at the city council meeting on Tuesday. They've got plans tomorrow night as well that are still being developed. We spoke with a couple of the people involved just a few minutes ago.
It's almost like a sword. You know what I'm saying? Once it starts to heal, then somehow or another you're playing too much and you peel the scab off again. Then once again the bleeding starts. And seems as if we never get a chance for that sword to heal. We have lost our minds as people when we can't more or less value life.
And as you're looking right now, you see those Fort Worth police officers. They were staged at 35W. Those marchers actually made their way to 35. They were blocked by the Fort Worth Police Department, who has a very heavy presence out here tonight. But let's bring you back out here at Allen and Mississippi Avenue. This is the place where tonight's protest started. But as we've seen and as we've heard from so many people, this just the beginning of several events planned this week. Reporting live tonight, I'm Alex Rosie.
All right, Alex, and as the community clashes with...
Several events planned this week. Several events planned way before the shooting happened. How do we know? Okay, planned way before the shooting happened. We already got several events already planned. It was planned way before the shooting happened. This shooting just happened maybe a couple days ago, so it was planned way before.
With PD, its former leader says current leadership needs to act now. Former Chief Joel Fitzgerald was forced out of the department, and now he's pushing for immediate and mandatory recertification for all officers in Fort Worth in de-escalation, procedural justice, and implicit bias training. Fitzgerald's attorney also demanded he be reinstated to his former position as chief, going as far to say Atatiana would still be alive today if Fitzgerald was still in charge. Atatiana was pre-med at Xavier University in Louisiana and graduated 5 years ago with a bachelor's degree in biology. Tonight, the president of Xavier University said there is clearly an urgent need to fix a law enforcement system and philosophy that is broken. And that's the same message we heard this morning from a pastor in Fort Worth.
You can't sit up here and act like it doesn't apply to you. Because you know what? Anybody could be next.
So yes, anybody white, black, orange, purple could be next. And justice doesn't stop at colors.
It's not that kind of deal. Anybody could be next. Anybody could be next. And so I'm standing here to tell you, I'm done.
Now, people have set up a GoFundMe for Atatiana's family, and it's already raised more than $112,000. If you want to see more...
Number seem made up, but okay. 112,000 seem made up, but okay. Let's go on to the next video. Which really ain't much videos.
Fort Worth Police Operator M873, what's the address?
I'm calling about my neighbor.
Okay, what's the address?
Okay, this is the phone call the neighbor did to the police.
Fort Worth Police Operator M873, what's the address?
I'm calling about my neighbor.
Okay, what's the address?
1203 East Allen Avenue.
Okay, 1203 East Allen Avenue, what's going on there?
Well, the front doors have been open since 10 o'clock, and I haven't seen anybody moving around. It's not normal for them to have both of the doors open this time of night.
Okay.
I haven't seen anybody moving around.
Okay, 1203 East Allen Avenue, what's going on there?
Well, the front doors have been open since 10 o'clock. I haven't seen anybody moving around. It's not normal for them to have both of the doors open this time of night.
Okay, you know if anyone isn't
moving around, it's not normal for them to have both of the doors open this time of night.
Okay, you know if anyone is inside?
No, I'm not sure. Both of the cars are there.
Okay, bear with me. And they're in the driveway?
Almost the cars in the driveway, yes.
Okay. Can you give me a description, like a color of the vehicles?
Well, one's white and one's dark blue.
The white one is a sedan or a CV? Or pickup?
They're both sedans.
Okay. And what's your name?
James Smith.
And what's your telephone number?
81.
Hey, what's that? Gotcha. And are they usually home at this time?
They're usually home, but they never had both of the front doors open. With the lights on, I can see straight through the house. Well, my sister won't be there. She stays across the street, and I live a little opposite side of my sister.
Okay. And the address that you gave me, 1203, that's their address, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a boring phone call made to the police about the front door's open. They usually leave the front door open. I don't see them moving around. So that's basically what that is. A boring old phone call. Everything I must say about the phone call.
I know I save money by bundling with USA. Home, auto, life insurance, anything we get through USA. And they give us excellent customer service every time. I'll never leave USA because they care about us and they save us a lot of money.
Bundle and save with USAA Insurance. Tonight, community leaders, loved ones, and the lawyer for Atatiana Jefferson's family want justice.
She went to investigate at the window. An officer.
There go Botham Jr., Joshua Brown, lawyer and standing. Lee Merritt, Lee Daniels, Lee Merritt.
Was on the other side who shouted commands, and before she had a moment to respond, he shot her to death. That's murder.
Speaking out after police released body cam footage showing two officers.
The other side who shouted commands, and before she had a moment to respond, he shot her to death. That's murder.
Speaking out after police released body cam footage showing two officers responding to a welfare check when one officer calls for someone to put up their hands.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
The Fort Worth Police Department saying the officer perceived a threat. The officer drew his duty weapon and fired one shot, striking the person inside the residence. Community leaders don't buy it.
She was in her own place and shot and killed her. That is not only unacceptable, that's murder.
There's no reason for her to be dead because there was nothing violent going on. There was no distress at this particular property.
Even the mayor of Fort Worth struck
murder.
There's no reason for her to be dead because there was nothing violent going on. There was no distress at this particular property.
Even the mayor of Fort
that's murder.
There's no reason for her to be dead because there was nothing violent going on. There was no distress at this particular property.
Even the mayor of Fort Worth striking an emotional tone. This is tragic and something that should never be necessary. A young woman has lost her life, leaving her family in unbelievable grief. Questions tonight about whether the firearm found at Atatiana's home was ever pointed at responding officers. Another controversial officer-involved shooting. Just weeks after Dallas police officer Amber Geiger was convicted and sentenced for killing.
And that's them connecting both scripts to each other. Same thing about being shot in the house by officer. In your own place by officer. Same city, Dallas, same Lee Merritt attorney.
A man in his home. The parallels not lost on those in Fort Worth.
I called on the Fort Worth Police Department to stop this shooting first, asking questions.
Do you see what I see? Take a look at his necklace. Do you see what I see? Take a look at his necklace.
Later, expect parallels not lost on those in Fort Worth.
I called on the Fort Worth Police Department to stop this shooting first, asking questions later, especially when it comes to our community.
And Sam, what does the Fort Worth Police Department say
The devil is in the detail. Let's continue this video.
about all this?
Yeah, well, Kate, first the mayor has called for
Later, especially when it comes to our community.
And Sam, what does the Fort...
And you see the lady on the left and the guy on the right. Now look right in the middle or between both of them. You see what is an eye, what is a one eye. Well, that's the eye of the lady they're about to show. But you see clearly in this scene, you see the eye right there, that one eye in the middle of them.
Worth Police Department saying about all this?
Yeah, well, Kate, first the mayor has called for an immediate and transparent investigation. We just found out from the Fort Worth Police Department they're going to be interviewing this officer tomorrow. But, Kate, ultimately, the decision over whether or not charges are coming will come from the Tarrant County District Attorney.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking
Go to the next video, y'all.
Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for CBS 11 News at 10. Our top story tonight, a woman...
So after this, we'll go check out that same attorney representing Joshua Brown. Or more of Atatiana Jefferson. Some videos. Atatiana Jefferson
is dead after being shot and killed in her own home by a Fort Worth police officer. The shooting happened around 2:30 this morning in the 1200 block of East Allen Avenue, just to the east of 35W. Let's go straight to Nicole Jacobs, who is live at the scene. Nicole, you've been there all day. What can you tell us? Well, I can...
Nicole Jacobs. What's that, girl? You got that long red necklace on you, girl. Come on, girl. Come on.
Tell you, when police first arrived here at the scene, residents tell me that they bypassed the two front doors, walked along the side of the home into the backyard where this shooting happened. Now, one thing community leaders, residents, and Fort Worth police all agree on is that law enforcement responded to this home for a well-being check, but they don't agree on why police shot and killed their neighbor.
She was the cool aunt who stayed up till 2 a.m. playing video games.
And that's what 28-year-old Atatiana Jefferson was doing in the overnight hours with her nephew.
The hardest part about this is I spoke with an 8-year-old who explained what it was like inside of the house.
Just before 2:30, James Smith, a neighbor of the East Allen Avenue home, called the non-emergency Fort Worth police number when he...
Who explained what it was like inside of the house.
Just before 2:30, James Smith, a neighbor of the East...
That's 1203. House 1203.
Allen Avenue home called the non-emergency Fort Worth police number when he saw his neighbor's doors ajar.
I informed them that my neighbor was an elderly, sickly lady, and I was concerned for her health.
But when police arrived, Smith recalls no light.
Why would you tell the police it was an elderly, sickly lady, and this woman was 28 years old? And playing video games 2 a.m. with her grandson. What would make you say elderly, sickly lady? And she's not elderly or sickly.
No sirens, no officers identifying themselves.
3 or 4 tactical officers come from around the corner, seem like. Walk across the street, go in front of her house, past the front doors, which were open, go down the side of her house, to the rear of her house, and in less than a minute, I heard a gunshot.
Fort Worth police confirm an officer shot and killed Jeff.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Amazing story. 4 tactical officers doing tactical procedures around a house. A minute later, to hear a gunshot. What an amazing story.
They followed up that information with a 1-minute, 20-second clip of body camera video. It shows officers moving along the side of the home into the backyard with flashlights shining, and then this.
Put your hands up, show me your hands.
We went from a welfare check to a woman being killed by the cops.
Shot through a backyard with flashlights shining, and then this.
Put your hands up, show me your hands.
We went from a welfare check to a woman being killed by the cops.
Shot through a screened window. Fort Worth officers later releasing images of a firearm inside the home.
There was nothing nefarious or illegal about owning a firearm, and they presented in no way that that firearm was contributory towards the use of deadly force here.
Community leaders and neighbors are rallying around the family who has declined to speak with the media, leaving it to activists to share.
You got the neighbor already saying somebody she was elderly and sickly, and they throw the gun piece in there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Their outrage.
This is one I cannot swallow. We are not target practice for nobody.
But our voice is going to be heard this time.
Jefferson was an Xavier University graduate working in medical sales, holding down.
No, she don't look 28 in this one, but they say she's 28, so. Let's look at the African dudes.
Cannot swallow. We are not target practice for nobody.
But our voice is going to be heard this time.
Jefferson was an Xavier University graduate working in medical sales, holding down the fort while her mother was in the hospital. And a neighbor, just trying to be a good neighbor, left feeling like this.
I feel guilty because had I not called the Fort Worth Police Department, my neighbor would still be alive today.
But with the demand for left feeling like this.
I feel guilty because had I not called the Fort Worth Police Department, my neighbor
just trying.
Looking at the 3 kids on the left in the background playing around. See what the heck they were doing.
Trying to be a good neighbor, left feeling like this.
I feel guilty because had I not called the Fort Worth Police Department, my neighbor would still be alive today.
But with the demand for answers, justice, and a call for an independent investigation, many in the community say an indictment is the right call.
That's murder.
Through a statement, Fort Worth police say they are committed to transparency going on to...
I can read what they says. You know, it's got to be on that script of get black people outraged, so-called black people outraged, and so on and so on. So.
They, in part, the person in independent investigation. They also say they want the interim police chief to step down. We're live in Fort Worth tonight. Nicole Jacobs, CBS 11 News.
All right, let's get to the next video. Dun, dun, dun. So 6 hours ago, when did this happen? Over a day ago. So maybe she was shot 2 days ago. Let's look up Lee Merritt, y'all.
Convicted of crimes in at least 5 cities across Texas. He was arrested for drug possession, evading arrest, theft, and having an illegal firearm.
And let's see the ignorance. Black people trying to make him out to be a hero. Oh, just the ignorant ones. He wasn't no hero. They try to uplift himself in a false way. Like, he was, according to reports, I'm gonna go by the reports, a drug dealer who ended up getting robbed and killed. He wasn't a hero. Only thing he did was go to court and say, I heard gunshots. And some lady on Nick at Night tried to argue with me, and she didn't have no argument. She just threw insults. Like, you don't have an argument when you throw insults. Some lady over at Nick at Night, not herself, but somebody watching the video. Let's just play this. But Joshua Brown was not a hero. He wanted MLK.
FAA obtained court documents and a letter Brown wrote to a judge in Travis County in 2017. He asked to be released early after being arrested for drugs. He says, I am praying when that date comes and I am discharged that I can put the whole series of events behind me and start off on a clean path. But records show he continued a life of crime. Last year, he was shot at a strip club. A man with Brown was shot and killed. But police believe he was the target. WFAA obtained a search warrant of Brown's apartment, which shows not only was there 12 pounds of pot and $4,000 in cash, there were digital scales to weigh drugs. Multiple sources and even some of his acquaintances say Brown was a known drug dealer moving large quantities of drugs, and that's what got him in trouble. Merritt now admits there is enough evidence supporting that.
Come on.
Hey, it's Ikemil. One. Audio. He talked. You're blind. Just don't believe justice is a trial. With him in Miami.
Well, I really don't want to hear nobody else talk about it.
Could have been me getting shot. I used to hang around people like that. So I'm not placing judgment like that, but I do feel the truth and it has to be out there. That's where the real justice comes.
I like the Joshua Brown when I said lead Merritt.
I think there is still a lot of more details. There's still a lot of things that don't add up. Because why was Joshua live streaming the night that he died? If he's in fear for his life, why is he live streaming and meeting random?
Because he wasn't in fear for his life. Because this thing is like one big old script coming out to be. Because he wasn't no hero. Say that again, wasn't no hero. You know, some black people losing their mind. Trying to associate a drug dealer with MLK. Like, trying to associate some guy who all he said on the stand was, I heard gunshots. So, dude is not a hero. No way, shape, or form. That's this black people trying to make themselves look good. Those black people trying to make a situation that's bad look good, and it's not working. And there go 3 suspects they named in the script that robbed him because he was selling drugs. There go Joshua Brown pointing out where he lived at in the apartment complex or where he saw the crime at or the gunshots. He wasn't no hero. Nothing heroic about this guy. Not heroic.
We spent the day mourning with his family and hearing from city officials. We spent the day hearing from law enforcement.
Here goes Lee Merritt, who is representing the deceased, Atatiana Jefferson. Who's speaking on behalf of the deceased Atatiana Jefferson, and he's speaking on the behalf of the deceased Joshua Brown in this case. Again, black people, Joshua Brown, the ignorant ones. Joshua Brown is not a hero. No, I can't believe a lady told me that in a conversation. Like, well, he's a hero, and you're just hating. Like, no, lady. The truth is, he was a drug dealer who got robbed and shot. Like, there was nothing hero about nothing he did in court. Like, he could have skipped court, and she still would have got convicted because she murdered the guy. She admitted to murdering him. So
about what their investigation looks like and what next steps will look like. We know that early on yesterday, the Dallas Police Department deferred the.
she said, "I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment." That's on the police cameras. So she was going down for murder anyway.
Investigation to the Texas Rangers office, and the warrant that seemed to be looming was withdrawn. From everything that we've heard, from the things that we know, we're not sure about exactly what happened, but we know that at least one law enforcement official and everyone that we've spoken to today has presented enough evidence that there was at least enough evidence for a charge of manslaughter, and that there is likely evidence for even stiffer penalty charges. With that in mind, if there's probable cause that a crime has been committed in this jurisdiction, it is incumbent upon law enforcement, and in particular the district attorney's office, to issue a warrant
Oh, that's a
for
year
the
ago.
arrest of the officer involved. This family is frustrated. This family is upset. This family is grieving that
She
has not happened yet.
discusses the murder.
We
Wow.
believe the fact that has not happened
Because
yet is a reflection on deferential treatment for law enforcement officers. We're not asking anyone to jump to any conclusions. We're not asking for law enforcement to convict this person or deny them their right to due process. But we're asking that they be treated as any other citizen. We've learned that the Dallas Police Department is incompetent to investigate itself. It doesn't have the ability to do that. And while I appreciate Chief Hall being willing to do an internal affairs investigation, that would be inadequate. We ask that Chief Hall call on the Department of Justice herself to investigate her department, which she is new to. It's time to clean house. We need a serious effort to clean house. This trial pulled the veil back for all of us. We can't just pull it back and go back and pretend that.
again, the same actor representing Botham Joshua Brown is representing this lady, Atatiana Jefferson. And once again, Joshua Brown was not a hero. I know I keep bringing it up, but that lady, hey, she can have a civilized conversation without throwing insults. I'm like, lady, really? A hero, really? Oh, please.
This injustice doesn't exist.
Even when your people do bad, you try to make him out to be a hero. Like, he was far from a hero.
Let's take it on, head on. We must commit ourselves to it every day, each one of us, until there's a culture of change, until there's a culture of accountability, not just a little bit. Like Amber Geiger gave Botham Jean just a little bit of CPR. It's insufficient. We need actual justice in the city of Dallas and throughout the United States of America. So this family is standing with this community and demanding that that happens in the name of Botham Jean, in the name of progress.
My family's leaving. We're going back to St. Lucia. But you have to do all that is necessary.
Hashtag be like Bo. Oh my gosh. Why does that seem like a money marketing scheme? Money making scheme.
To make Dallas a safer place. I think if we start with Dallas, the other states in America will follow suit and make America better.
What are you hoping to hear from Chief Paul that you haven't heard yet since the trial finished?
I don't want to hear anything. I want to see change. I think we've heard a lot. We're just hearing, but hearing does nothing. We need to seek meaningful change. We need to seek
Just dumb dumb title, Lee Merritt lied and got Joshua. I'm not even gonna look at it. Got Joshua Brown killed. Yeah, people making shit up. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Smear campaign on. Well, smear campaign. The motherfucker sold drugs. They caught him with drugs. They caught the people who shot him. These are the type of people you can't talk to in a civilized conversation. Not like from either perception that I have of this case. Not even from the perception that this dude was drug dealing and got shot for that. And they think it's a smear campaign. Right.
Joshua Brown was no stranger to police, convicted of crimes in at least 5 cities across Texas. He was arrested for drug possession, evading arrest, theft, and having an illegal stay over the weekend.
Smear campaign. Certain people made it legal for certain people. Because think about it, y'all. Who's the one that's benefiting from the legalization from marijuana? Who's the one getting all the money from this shit? The same ones that's locking your ass up.
And anybody that opens a dispensary and sells weed is benefiting. What? Silver fraud? Let's do this one.
How you feeling, son? How you feeling? No, as an actual political activist, I got dragged into this by me and Shane Lang. How are
I'm
you
not
feeling
talking
right
about.
about now with what the fuck you see?
I don't know what they're talking about in their bullshit channel. And she still has the video down.
Not because of. Okay, so this is legal.
Okay, so we're going to end the video at that. I think another person just came in. Say hello in the chat. I don't know. I might stay 5 more minutes. Really can't think of nothing else to look at on this case. I mean, really can't. I know I'm missing out on something I want to look at. But I really can't. Well, making men going to Truth Out Loud channel and checking out Truth Out Loud coverage of this.
Hey, what's going on, fam? Another real quick video. I want to talk about 2 topics in one.
That's not Truth Out Loud, but let's just do Truth Out Loud. Truth Out Loud. So he did a 7-hour stream yesterday. Just check out the first hour. The first hour is when he talks about Joshua Brown and Amber Geiger.
Needs the eyeballs. Really? No. Y'all trying to move us away from the. So the best thing they had
For him to say against Amber Geiger was, I didn't hear her say this, but nigga, he said he couldn't make out what was being said throughout the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? And then you get a lot of people saying, well,
But check him out. He explains, you know, how, what I've been saying too, Joshua Brown was no key witness. You know, and me personally, Joshua Brown is not a hero. People calling him a hero, no. Obviously, by the reports say what the reports say. Yeah, he wasn't. What Nipsey Hussle wasn't even a hero. That's one thing I was thinking about earlier. Now, Nipsey Hussle, he wasn't even close to Nipsey Hussle, and Nipsey Hussle wasn't even close to Martin Luther King. So I don't. Either of those two are heroes compared to MLK. But there ain't much more to look at. Let me see if any protests from the Atatiana Jefferson, if any more protest video came out, then I'm in the video. I'm in it right there. No, I'm doing live on that right now. I don't want live. For sure. Well, I've seen the neighbor explanation. Do we really want to go back to looking at what the neighbor said? Because the neighbor said the doors was open, so he called the police to do a wellness check because he noticed the doors was open and nobody was moving around. Yeah. That's new. Well, new information is coming out because the case is relatively new. So about an hour, you will see new videos and different interviews. Let's look at this one.
And hundreds of people spilling into the streets tonight in Fort Worth protesting that police shooting death of Atatiana Jefferson. Tonight, we know the officer who shot Jefferson will be interviewed by investigators tomorrow morning. Police also confirming that officer never identified himself as a police officer before firing that shot. We have team coverage of this story with Aaron Jones, who talked exclusive to Jefferson, that officers.
Let's back it up. I want to see that. Let's back it up.
Was supposed to be a vigil, but continues. Killed Jefferson.
So we're gonna look at some more protest video right quick and some new videos coming out about it. Ain't that new, but we're gonna look at it.
What the officer observed and why he did not announce police will be addressed as the investigation continues.
Okay, yeah, I know it's gonna be a bullshit investigation because it's a bullshit script.
Outside Jefferson's home Sunday night, hundreds of people chanted her name. Some of her family members arrived back at the house during what was... Outside Jefferson's home Sunday night, hundreds of people chanted her name. Some of her family members arrived back at the house during what was supposed to be a vigil, but quickly turned into a demonstration.
This is not a training issue with the Fort Worth Police Department. This is a cultural issue.
But quickly turned into a demonstration.
This is not a training issue.
Yeah, it's more of a training issue, lady. More of a training issue. Can't be not much of a culture issue if he just shot through the window like that, lady. You're just feeding to the racist people, the racist blacks. You're just feeding to them. Stop feeding the ignorance of racist people.
With the Fort Worth Police Department, this is a cultural issue.
Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price appeared at the gathering, telling me she has confidence in the police department and interim police.
Fort Worth Police
And the mayor all smiles. So.
This is a cultural issue.
Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price appeared at the gathering, telling me she has confidence in the police department and interim police chief Ed Krause.
He's devastated about this, and I believe they'll do the right thing. We will hire a third-party investigator to come out.
Her office later clarified that third party will review police department policies related to use of force. Shortly after we talked, her security team had to escort her away from the crowd.
You know, they got some, I'm not even going to say actors. And if you look, it was here earlier in the video. Look earlier in the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. So they got some people to make a scene. Basically, they just got some people paid to make a scene. Paid or not paid. Crazy or just plain crazy.
Police Chief Ed Krause is expected in Fort Worth tonight. Jason Allen, CBS 11 News.
Okay, Jason, thank you. Some of those demonstrators and protesters marching from that home on Allen towards I-35 this evening. There was a large police presence.
And in the earlier videos we saw, you hear they said they have more protests planned for the week coming up. So this whole week we're gonna be looking at this Atatiana Jefferson case and some other stuff. Cause this whole week they pre-planned protests. And to people who understand what I'm saying, they pre-planned protests way before she was shot. You can understand what I'm saying. But let's go to another video.
This is Atatiana Jefferson talking.
Let's just say, you know, it's gonna be an eventful week for the black community again. So, this is all linked to the Joshua Brown, Botham Jean, Amber Geiger, black being shot in their home by a white cop. This is all linked to each other in this script. Continued script. So they took focus off this Amber Geiger thing. We're over here on Amber Geiger 2.0 or Botham Jean 2.0.
About what she loved most, medicine. Tonight, her father.
Okay, the title of this video is Like Botham Jean Brother, Unlike Botham Jean Brother. I don't want no hug.
Father describes his daughter's death in one word: senseless. He talked only to CBS 11's Aaron Jones about what he wants to see changed in the Fort Worth Police Department immediately. Aaron is live now in Fort Worth. Aaron.
Steve, Atatiana Jefferson's father is obviously devastated. He's still.
If you ever listen to Jurassic Liars on 153news.net, I'm referencing him, Atatiana Jefferson. Yeah, check out 153news.net, but Jefferson. To get the reference, yeah.
Processing her death. Here outside her house, you can see candles and flowers. People have been stopping by all day long to pay their respects. Jefferson's father says she was very loved, and now something good has to come out of this. He's working on a way, an impactful way, to keep her memory alive.
My mother called me yesterday morning. She said they was shot.
Marquise Jefferson waking up to learn his only daughter was dead.
I mean, it's senseless. My daughter was 28 years old. Had a whole.
His only daughter was dead.
He said 28, right? They did say she was 28 in other videos.
I mean, it's senseless. My daughter was 28 years old. Had a whole life in front of her.
Around 2 a.m. Saturday morning, Fort Worth police arrived at Atatiana Jefferson's house for a welfare check after her neighbor called them concerned her front door was open.
And I don't have nothing against the neighbor. I mean, hey, if he sees something going over that house with my daughter, you need to call the police. You know what I'm saying? But it's the way the police acted.
In
the body cam video, you see an officer walk through Jefferson's backyard to a bedroom window where she was standing.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Not even a full second later, she was shot.
You got to know, there's somebody's daughter. Somebody loved her. And it was a better way. It didn't have to be like that.
Jefferson thankful for their final words.
I texted her, said I love her. And she texted me back, said I love you too.
The two shared a very special bond.
When she was growing up, I read to her a lot. I bought her a lot of books. Ooh, she loved to read. She reads all the time. Her mother tell me she in there reading.
Reading fueled her passion for learning.
Hi, my name is Atatiana Jefferson, and I'm doing lab exercise 5.
Jefferson going on to get a pre-med degree from Xavier University. Currently, she was working in pharmaceutical equipment sales, saving up for medical school.
She had hope. She had dreams. She had aspirations. We've lost them for no reason. I've seen many cases like this where you think that they would have learned from it.
I like this Botham, John, I don't want no hug. That's my...
Why'd you even have to bring that up? Why'd you even have to bring up not wanting to hug and bringing up the Botham John case? Like, your daughter was just killed maybe a day ago or two. And you sitting there saying, I don't want no hug.
One and only daughter. I'll never forget that.
And Jefferson's father did bring up a donation page that was set up for his daughter. He says he was not...
Of course, they brought up the donation page, which they're claiming this donation page is at 115 grand right now. So of course, in these scripts, they're throwing out that GoFundMe or GoFraud.me, because in some cases, these stores are defrauding you out of money. So.
Aware about this or even contacted about this, and that he will be paying for his daughter's funeral with his own money. Reporting live in Fort Worth tonight, Aaron Jones, CBS 11 News.
Aaron, thank you.
Okay, maybe one more video, because it was something else I wanted to check out. No, that's all that came through the wire on it. Trying to think, where do I wanna take this broadcast? So we did Joshua Brown, we did Tatiana. Looked at Lee Merritt, he just like Gloria Allred. What's that lady name? Like Lee Merritt is the new Gloria Allred.
Reference to what Mr. Brafman, in reference to what Mr. Brafman, who represents Mr. Weinstein, stated about the Me Too movement, I would take issue.
Yeah. I'm relating, he's like the black, he's like the black Gloria Allred, because you know how she represent all the big scripts of Me Too on TV. So whenever you see some producer, some actor, some director, and some lady come out against them, they're the first person she runs to. They're the first person they run to her first. I think she's represented the people in the Jeffrey Epstein case too, the girls that claim Jeffrey Epstein raped them or whatnot. Even though the girls in Jeffrey Epstein case were hookers, they were all hookers. They were all recruited. That's how that script said it went. So I'm going how the script said they recruited the girls to come have sex with him. So, can't be raped if you were recruited and you were paid. Like you was just a hoe. So, but that's Gloria Allred. She represents the Hollywood Me Too movement as a headline lawyer of that script of that movement. Now I'm gonna look at another guy. This is just funny. This is who Lee Merritt looked like to me. Crisis, crisis, crisis. No, y'all, no, y'all, no, y'all, no, y'all, no, y'all, no, y'all. There we go. Where he at? There he go.
R&B singer R. Kelly will appear in federal court in Brooklyn next month to face new sex crime charges. Federal prosecutors
Just want to see how they look alike, Lee Merritt and this guy. Right now I'm just freestyling.
in Illinois. Now he is denied
under
the age of 17. No. Daryl, it's good to see you again. Good morning. Listen,
They could be brothers, him and Lee Merritt. You know, whenever R. Kelly go to court, you see him speak first on the podium. Then you see the lawyer come behind him and speak, the white lawyer.
when I asked that question, I wasn't expecting him to say, yes, Gail, as a matter of fact, I have. But now he was arrested 10 days ago while he was walking his dog. He's now facing 195 years in prison based on the Chicago charges alone.
195 years, nigga. That's 9 plus 6, y'all. 15. That's 95 years. Nigga. They said they got this magical tape. His defense keeps saying we ain't seen no tape. So.
Joining me now is Daryl Johnson, a publicist for R. Kelly. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you. The world is fascinating.
So we're gonna leave it there, people. Just go check out this video from the beginning, and you'll see some interesting stuff I caught. And I'm gonna leave it right there. Once more information come out, or we'll come live again if we can think of another subject to talk about going live or review. Anyway, this has been Awkward Occurrence for Awkward Entertainment, and we'll see you in the next video.